So if you want to see how I created this look using the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette, just keep on watching. Hey guys, so annoying. I had already filmed this video, and then by the time I imported it and like deleted the footage because my memory card was full, came back to my laptop and all of the footage was like gone. So I've deleted it off my memory card and it had crashed or whatever on import, so all of that information is gone. So the part where I was introducing the palette and doing the tutorial for the makeup look that I have on my face, that is what got erased. So I'm having to reshoot it. So the tutorial that you will see will be this look reshot, if that makes sense. Anyway, so this is the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette. I got this on Beauty Bay for £16. They were having a 30% off sale. It was normally £32, but for some reason this was half off. So I got this for £16, and that is cheaper than a Juvia's Place palette. Now this outer gold sleeve is like a lemon peel skin kind of feel, and this is the back. It tells you what all of the ingredients are, as well as showing you what the colors are in the palette as well. And it says that it's 10 times 1.4 grams. When you open up the palette, this is what it looks like. Just a gorgeous watercolor pink and yellow palette, and it says lemonade in gold. And these here are the shades. These are just so beautiful. I remember when I first saw this palette and I was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love the color scheme, but it doesn't scream lemonade to me. There's only 2 yellows, there's like a cream color, and even though it's beautiful, very summery, it just doesn't say lemonade to me. It just doesn't. So I'm going to show you some swatches and I'll be right back. So these here are all of the swatches. At the top of my hand we have all of the shimmers, and then on my arm we have the mattes, and I kind of feel like the mattes are better than the shimmers. And normally in palettes shimmers are better than the mattes, but that's just not the case with this palette. I just feel like only 1 or 2 of those shimmers are actually doing any justice to this palette. So it's not the best swatching palette, but I guess you're just gonna have to see how it performs on the eyes. So those are all of the swatches of the shades in the Lemonade palette. As I said, I don't feel like these swatch very good, but the mattes are better than the shimmers in my opinion. Now this palette, I think it's $42 American dollars, but it was £32 sterling. I'm kind of glad that I got it on sale like half off. I'm going to be doing a tutorial and I'll be explaining what I think of the palette at the very end. As I said, I will be recreating what I have on my eyes now, seeing as I lost all my footage. But that's okay because I enjoyed making this look, so I'm more than happy to recreate it. So just keep on watching if you want to see the tutorial. I have already put some concealer on my lid. I'm going to go in with this shade here, Chai Tea. There is quite a bit of kickback on that shade. I'm not too sure if you can see it, but there's quite a lot of kickback. As soon as I put my brush into it, it's just like, so I'm gonna dot that just above the crease, then try to blend that out a bit. Now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to pick up the remaining kick up that's on the palette, rather than going in again and doing all this and creating even more kickback. Kickback doesn't really bother me too tough because it's a powder. I expect for there to be some kickback, but in saying that, the more kickback that there is, the more product that you lose, because you're going to be blowing away a little bit of powder. But as I said, I don't expect for powders to, or for eyeshadows or pressed pigments to not have kickback. Of course there's going to be some, like there's going to be some. So there's like this slight little patch here which is a little bit difficult to blend out, but as I keep on going it has kind of blended out a little bit. So now using a little crease brush, I'm going to go into this shade here, Sweet Tea, this orangey kind of shade, and I'm going to go right in the crease, which is going just over the beginning of that chai tea shade. And I'm going to slightly blend it upward. Then I'm going to take that brush that I was using, that chai tea shade on, just so I can blend the edge. And again, there was a bit of kickback with that mango shade, is what it is. Now I'm going to use this flat brush, and I'm going to get a little bit of the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I'm literally going to use what's just around the rim, because I don't need a lot. Like literally just that is fine. I'm going to put that on the lid, and then look up. My crease always goes so high, just don't understand. Like, why is it always just super duper high? Other people's cut creases aren't always as high as this, because now I'm kind of feeling like it's covering the work that I've just done. So now I'm going to go in with this mango shade here using a crease brush, and I'm just going to pat on that yellow. Now back in with that sweet tea shade there. See, when I pat these on, they go on really, really nice. Like the pigment is definitely there when I'm using my concealer and my crease brushes, when I'm just like packing on the colour. Now of course I have not used this without a concealer as yet. Going to use that yellow, that brush that I had the yellow on, just so I can bring the two shades together and get rid of that harsh line. That's so much better. Now back in with that chai tea shade. I'm just gonna bring it right on the corner. Now using a flat brush, I'm gonna go into Blueberry Fizz here. I'm giving it a little bit of a spritz. I love that this actually shows up on my lower lash line, because not all shimmers work that good on the lower lash line, in my opinion anyway. Okay, and now I'll be right back. Okay, and now I'm going to use the shade Lemon Soda in my inner corner. Sorry, my spritz was about to fall off of my lap. I'm just going to use this clean crease brush. Okay, I think this probably would work better as like a lid colour rather than an inner corner colour. So I'm not going to go too overboard with it. Okay, so I'm going to go and do the other side and put on a lippy, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have finished my look, and I've put on some like peachy ready kind of lippy. This is not what I normally do, so this for me is kind of like stepping outside of the box. Okay, so my thoughts on the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette. Okay, so as I said before, I don't feel like it swatches very good. Only a few shades actually swatch decent, but that doesn't mean that there isn't pigmentation there. And I do feel like there was a few shades that did swatch really good. Either way, I feel like they do go onto the lid really, really well. I have used a concealer to act as my base, but I tend to do that with all of my eyeshadows now anyway, so it's nothing different from what I would normally do with any other eyeshadow palette. What I will say, as I have said before, I don't feel like this is a lemonade palette. I kind of feel like this is like a summer drinks kind of palette, and I'm really, really glad that I didn't pay full price for it, because I don't feel like theme matches what is inside the palette itself. Hopefully that makes sense. Either way though, as I said, from when I first saw the palette, I really, really loved the color scheme, but I don't feel like it's any better or any worse than any other palette. I would kind of say to you, if you feel that you do want this palette, probably get it while it's on sale, because £32, I think it's like $42 in the US. I remember somebody who had gotten this was saying that it was like $42. I feel like it's really, really up there for what it is. It's a pretty palette. I mean, there is color payoff. I can see all of the colors. There is pigmentation there. I can't deny it. But I'm just not like taken aback by the palette. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's a nice palette. It has pigment, has a few really nice shades, but it's not wowing me. It's not making me feel like, oh my gosh, stop everything, go out and buy it right now. It's not that kind of situation personally. What I will say though is that the shimmer that I've put on my lower lash line, it was this one here, Blueberry Fizz. Not a lot of shimmers that I've ever used on my lower lash line have actually stuck onto my lower lash line. I did not put any concealer on my lower lash line, so that's why I'm just kind of like, okay, it actually stuck onto my lower lashes, or onto my lower lash line. Wow, that barely ever tends to happen. Like, okay, cool. So that is a plus for me. I just don't feel like there's enough yellow, considering that it's a lemonade palette. There's just not enough yellow, but it's pretty nonetheless. It's cool. I probably wouldn't draw for it every single day. I probably will only draw for it every once in a while, but as I said, I'm glad that I got it for £16 rather than the full £32. That's all I really have to say about it. It's cute, but it's just not something that I feel you need to run out and go and buy right now. If you do already have this palette, let me know what you think about it. Like, is it the best thing that you've ever bought? Like, do you feel the exact same way after seeing this review? Do you feel like you want to go and buy it? Was it ever anything that you wanted to go and buy? I do think I'm going to do a couple more looks with it, because even when I look at it right now, I just kind of feel like there's definitely other eyeshadow looks that I can do, and there's a couple that I'm thinking of in my head. Something that I did want to mention is that this pink and this pink here, okay, this one here is like it's not a duochrome, it's like a reflect. So it's pink and it reflects gold. So as you move, it reflects gold. This is like a straight up shimmery pink. I don't think that they needed both of them. I don't think that it was necessary to have both of those pinks, especially as you've got the pink, you've got the peach. This one is basically a combination of the two of them, if that makes sense, because this is like a peachy kind of goldy color. This is a pink shimmer. This one is a pink that reflects gold. So it's basically these two shimmers together. They could have gone without one of them and added another yellow color. Like, that would have made a little bit more sense. Like, if they had 3 yellows instead of just 2, that would have been a little bit more lemonade-like. I mean, considering that was it Maybelline? I think it was Maybelline who did like a lemonade craze palette. I haven't managed to get my hands on that palette, but I saw somebody do like a Dominique lemonade palette versus the Maybelline lemonade craze, and the lemonade craze only has like one like obviously yellow shade. The rest of them was like a couple of pinks and like a whole heap of brown. So that to me wasn't lemonade either, but this one I feel is probably a little bit more lemonade than the lemonade craze. But again, I haven't tried it. I'm just going off of what I see in the pictures rather than what I have in my hands. Anyway, so this was the look that I created. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. The pigmentation is there, but it's nothing that's making me go, oh my gosh, wow, it's amazing. One other thing that I will say is that I do remember that there was a situation about this palette. Like, some of the shadows just weren't working and coming off the way that they were intended. So everybody who had the original launch palettes, they got them replaced. And that kind of reminds me of the Morphe situation, minus the fact that Dominique Cosmetics apparently just automatically sent out replacements. With Morphe, you had to get them to give you a replacement. I got them to give me a replacement of my Vault, Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. I'm gonna give that palette set away during the Christmas time, so do look out for that. So I'm not too sure whether or not I have an original launch or if I have the second launch palette. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not too sure, but I can only go off of what I have in my hands, and it's just anyway, enough rambling. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.